Hey guys, so for today's episode of Snack Therapy, I'm gonna try the other 3 flavors of Warheads that I didn't try last time. We're gonna try to do 3. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so luck of the draw, I got Warheads. Apple. So we're going to see how this one goes. Last time we tried watermelon and black cherry, which, you know, those are probably my 2 least favorite flavors out of the pack. I figured we could just try some snacks and just chit chat a little bit. And I was thinking of a topic we could talk about. And I was thinking we could just chat a little bit about like reality TV shows and what's on right now and what I'm watching and what I see a lot of other people watching. So as long as I survive opening the package. I would definitely say this one to me is better tasting than the other 2. And for reality TV and everything like that, shows that I see everybody else watching that I really have never gotten into is Love Island. I know it's super popular and it's like all over the place right now, and it's just never really a show that really piqued my interest. It's kind of like they took the real world and mashed it up with something like, I think, American Idol. I am not super familiar with American Idol, but I'm thinking about how I think their voting system works, where like America would vote for the person that they want. So from what I understand, people can get like voted out of the house based on the viewers voting. Well, like I said, this is just all I can tell from what I see on social media. And like I said, for me, it kind of seems like they mashed up the real world and letting people vote. Letting viewers vote for stuff. And then you throw in like weird like game show challenges and stuff like that. Like The Perfect Match, I think, on Netflix is the one that I watch. The one where it's like they get people from all the other shows they put on and they try to pair them up into couples, and then at the end the couples vote for who they think is the best couple. So I think if you took maybe not even the real world, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe if you took Perfect Match and like American Idol and put it together, you'd get Love Island. And then everybody being obsessed with the host, Ariana, which she's from Vanderpump Rules, which has been on for like ages. And it's kind of funny that just like out of nowhere people are like discovering her when there's been like a whole like Vanderpump Rules fandom who's known her for like years. And then everybody on like, I would say Vanderpump Rules is like a mainstream TV show if you're into like the housewife shows. But if you're into like regular mainstream TV shows, like what is it, Survivor, Big Brother, I recently kind of started watching Destination X, like shows like that, or like reality shows that those TV channels have. I don't think you would know about Vanderpump Rules, but I would say Love Island is in the category of, like I said, Survivor, and not that they're the same kind of TV show, but because they have two very different niches that they're in, but the fact that they're on the same type of channels, if that makes sense. I don't know what channels they're on because we don't use regular TV. We don't have cable, so I don't know any of the regular channels, which one produces each, like CBS and whoever else there like ABC. And then what was the Diary of like Pregnant Teenager or something like that? Fox, but I think they changed to something else. Was that on Fox? I don't 100% know, because that was on a channel, like a channel where they kept changing the name all the time. Because like one summer it was one thing, another summer it was another thing. But anyway, we got a little sidetracked. Everybody's obsessed with Love Island. It doesn't pique my interest, so I haven't watched it. And then let's try another thingy thing. So we got lemon. Okay. This one's super sour. So I do watch Perfect Match occasionally. I watched most of the most recent season, but I didn't watch it all the way to the end because I read a couple articles about who actually won. It was like the most random couple that won, so I didn't want to watch the rest of them. There's one show that I just watched where it was a bunch of like reality TV people who were like locked in a house, and the idea was when they were collecting money while they were in the house, but there were like objectives given to certain people that when the money reached a certain point they were supposed to escape. And when you escaped, if you successfully escaped from the house and like left the property, you would get the money that had been collected on the clock. And so I watched that. I'm not going to tell you how. If you're at all interested in watching it, I'm not going to tell you how that ended. What's like really surprising, what happens and the dynamic of all the people in there. And you could definitely tell by the end of their time in the house, like some people did not like other people. They didn't get along. They spent too much time cooped up with each other. I'm kind of watching Destination X. It doesn't totally like keep my attention the entire episode. I think it's interesting the stuff they do and the places that they go to. But like I said, it doesn't hold my attention for the entire episode. I like Traders. We started watching that before it became super, super popular. And I guess it's actually a show, I believe, from the UK. And then I watched Married at First Sight. I actually came across Married at First Sight. I guess it had been on for the longest time. But I didn't get introduced to the Married at First Sight like franchise until I started having some of them come up on TikTok, but they weren't it wasn't the US episodes, it was the Australia one. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so interesting. I want to try to figure out how to watch this. I couldn't figure out how to watch it. I know there's a way to do it with a VPN, which I have, but it just was like a little too in-depth for me to try to figure out, because I'm a little technologically I'm not gonna say savvy. What's the opposite of savvy? Like, it's like my handicap. I'm just not super good with anything technology, social media, anything like that, which is like really ironic. I'm like, editing videos is like the bane of my existence. Like, if I could just get somebody to do it for me, that would be fantastic, because I just absolutely despise it. I'm gonna try the blue one, and then we're gonna be done. We're gonna see if we could just pick it randomly in the bag. Nope. I think there's like not a whole bunch. There's one like very all the way at the bottom. Let's see how many. There's only one blue one in this entire bag. These people are criminal. Like, only one blue one? Oh my goodness. There's only one blue one. And 3 green apple. And then the most, I think, is black cherry. What is that? People's least favorite? That's so unfortunate. So there was 3 total green apple. 5 total lemon, 5 total watermelon. Oh no, I ate one, so 6 total watermelon, and then 7 total black cherry. That must be the least popular flavor, and they're like, get rid of it. And just 1 poor little blue raspberry. I wonder if all the bags are like this. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I personally think the lemon might have been the most sour tasting to me. The one with the best taste while you still had the sour, I think, was the green apple. My favorite flavor is the blue raspberry, which I kind of knew that already. It kind of tastes like the blue raspberry blow pops. Or they weren't blow pops. They were like huge. I don't remember what they were called. But this tastes similar to that. To rank them, I kind of think lemon and apple might be tied. I don't know, I might like the lemon just a little bit more than the apple, but I can't make a clear decision. Then I would say black cherry and then watermelon. And I just, like I said, I put watermelon at the bottom because I'm not the biggest fan of like the synthetic taste of watermelon. I like the actual fruit, but I don't like this, like the fake tasting watermelon. But there was a show I recently watched, well, semi-recently watched, called Secret Millionaire on Netflix, and I thought that was pretty good. The person who won, because somebody's gotta win, I totally thought they were a plant. Like, they were put in the game to either mess up the game or to ultimately win the game. But that's all I'm gonna tell you. There was another TV show kind of similar with a group of people. I can't remember the name, but it became on before Secret Millionaire when it was still a bunch of people in a house and they were playing for money. It was one of those shows where I think it like tested people's morality to see if the end of the game was to get as many people to the end of the game as possible, so they could, the point of the game was to get as many people to the end of the game, well, as possible. But if you had less people that got there, it will be more money for everybody else. I don't 100% remember the name of this one. But there was like a twist at the very end where all of the people voted had the ability to vote if they wanted to keep all the money for themselves or split it up between everybody. And I'm not going to tell you how that ended. So if you want to watch the show, if I can figure out what the name of the show is, I'll definitely put it like in the description or the comments. Because one of the women on this show ended up being on the new season of Perfect Match. Well, newer season of Perfect Match. And then Love is Blind, which I'm gonna say I saw a lot of people complaining about this new season of Love is Blind because it was a Midwest state, and everybody online was saying people from the Midwest aren't going to be super dramatic and there wasn't enough drama in this season. But I don't know, like, I would say they weren't like expressive dramatic, where there wasn't like a really big like, oh my goodness type of like reaction to everything. But I would definitely say there was a little bit of like drama that wasn't seen in the other seasons, in my opinion. It definitely did seem like out of this cast, there were more people who were on the show to try to get popular on the internet, which I think that is like really crappy. You're watching the show for like a genuine experience, not to watch somebody who's trying to boost their social media. And I mean, some of the people seemed really disingenuous going through the experience and everything like that. And I kind of felt that way with this newer season of Married at First Sight. To the point where I didn't watch all the episodes all the way to the end, especially because it was not going well for a lot of the couples. And I think Married at First Sight is a really good example of people having an idea of a person they want to be with in their head, and then actually getting that person, and then it's either not what they were expecting, or it's not really the type of person they actually need to be with. And that's kind of what I like watching about that show. It's a lot of when the relationships don't work out, either the person has to do a lot of self-reflecting and like figure out if the type of person they're going after is actually the type of person that they're meant to be with or should be with, or there's other people who just think everybody else is the problem and, you know, never end up changing. But there's something that happened for the first time in the history of the show this past season that hadn't happened in any other season. And the other thing that this show really explains to people, I think just watching it, they don't like outright say this, but like your physical preferences really determines what you are willing to accept from somebody in their behavior or personality. Because you could have the nicest guy who treats you the best, but he's not the best looking, and those are usually the relationships that don't work out. Or you could have the relationship where they're both physically attracted to each other and they're just both terrible matches for each other because they don't actually know what they want. And that seems to happen more often with the people who are trying to get married young, or the people who are on the older end of this experience spectrum, and they're just too set in their ways because they have been single. And when I say single, I mean unmarried. For so long that they become like unable to adapt to somebody else's lifestyle. And then the third thing that, you know, I would say most often tends to happen, where one person is extremely attracted to the other one, but it's not reciprocated. And from what I've seen, it's like the dude's like, it's gone both ways, but I've seen it a lot where the dude is into the girl like at the wedding and everything like that. But once they like start living together, like the honeymoon's fine, they might start to get into like areas that they might not totally agree on, but there's still that attraction there. So they're able to work through some of it. But when they move into the point where they're living together and they have either two totally different lifestyles, meaning like work and everything like that, or like health and fitness routines, or if they have pets. But the main thing I've seen like really like divide people is the level of cleanliness they expect from each other. I think it was the last season, not this most recent season, that the guy was kind of into the girl was really into the guy, and you could tell that the guy was like trying to form some type of like feelings for her to try to grow like a physical attraction, because you could tell he thought she was cute, but there wasn't like a like this is my ultimate type like and physically. And so like you could tell like he was like trying, especially the wedding day and through the vacation, to try to get more comfortable with her, and vice versa on the honeymoon. But when they started living together, you could tell it went downhill real quick. And from what it seemed like to me, he was a pretty like upkept, clean guy, and like to keep his living space clean. And she was like physically upkept, but lived in a very messy way. So, and she was really, really active with, I think she was a teacher. She was really active with her school. So I don't know if it was like her choice to be like unorganized, or if it was just, like not having the extra time to allot to keeping her stuff organized and clean all the time. But then that gets to a point in a relationship where if you're partners, you work to help make the other person's situation better. Like, oh my goodness, with my husband, he leaves wrappers all over the place. He leaves the toilet paper thing undone. And it's not because he has really bad ADHD, so it's not like he always does it on purpose. He just gets distracted by something else. So, I always have to pick up all the stuff he has around. So that's what I mean, like your partner helping keep your space tidy, because it's not that I don't want to say you're unable to, because like you don't have the ability to, but you're not able to because you have some type of constraint. But yeah, I know we didn't talk about a whole bunch of TV shows, but we didn't even get into the 90 Day Fiance, because that is like a whole episode with all their spin-offs and stuff like that. Oh, maybe that's what the next episode is going to be about. Just dedicated to all of that. But yeah, so this is almost gone. I'm really glad we got to spend this time together. And if you have any suggestions on TV shows or any other snacks I should try next, please let me know. Okay, thanks. Bye.